go ahead and start to relax, letting those shoulders kind of flatten themselves down into the floor, belly facing up towards the ceiling. Your knees can be bent, your legs can be long, and you can just be taking these first few moments to settle in. So the first few moments of every yoga practice are set aside for us to just check in with our breath, check in with our physical body, and see how things are feeling today. Obviously, if you start to notice a space within the body that feels a little tight, a little tense, you can make that observation, but then just try to let it go so that you can come back to it later. Today's opening intention is entitled Stay Present with Yourself. Self-love is not allowing yourself to get lost in imagining what others think of you. Stay present within yourself. So as we move through the poses today, I encourage you to not only stay physically on your mat, but emotionally, mentally as well. Use this space, this 60 minutes you have in front of you, as a way to reflect, turn inward, and use the breath to create physical and mental spaces within the body. Depending on how you feel right now, you might start to add a little bit of movement. Maybe pointing and flexing the toes a little bit, maybe opening and closing the hands. If your legs have been long, it might make sense to add some bends to the knees. Maybe walk the heels of the feet a little closer to your glutes. Maybe your knees sway side to side as you open up that side body, making way for a little twist. Your arms might stretch out wide to a T. We've all got plenty of space today, or you might decide to keep them close by, maybe even resting on your belly. The next time the knees fall to the right, let's go ahead and just pause there. You can keep some space between your knees, or you might decide to go ahead and stack them one on top of the other. And letting that side body have some space. Shoulders resting down towards the earth. And then as you feel ready, we'll stand those knees back up towards the ceiling and send them over to the other side of the mat. And just as before, if you want to leave some space between the knees, fine. If you want to stack the knees on top of each other, fine. And then as you feel ready, we'll begin to stand those knees back up. Hug the right knee close in towards the belly. Either let the left leg go long down the mat, or you can keep that left knee bent. Your ankles might take some love here, pointing and flexing the toes, rolling those around. And then you're just going to switch sides. So go ahead and bring the opposite knee in towards the belly. Let the other leg go long or bent. Point and flex toes, roll around ankles. And then we'll just take our time. You're going to go back and forth a little bit. So you'll just inhale and hug this right knee in. Exhale, release it, switch sides. Inhale and switch. And switch. One more. Make sure you're even. So if you started with right knee, go ahead and get your left knee in there. And then we'll let those feet settle down to the ground, both knees pointed up towards the ceiling. Set yourself a bridge. So we'd like a little bit of space between our knees. Our heels walking close to the glutes, hands on either sides of the body, and then just inhale to lift your hips up off the ground. Your gaze is gentle up towards the sky. Shoulders are relaxed into the earth. And we breathe. Inhaling to lift your heels up off the ground. Exhale to slowly lower back down in between the upper back, down through the thoracic spine, all the way to drop those hips. Low back, all the way down to the earth. Heels press into ground. Feet walk towards one another. Let your knees fall out and open to the side. Set yourself into kind of a bound angle here. Hands reach up above the head and extend to the wall behind you. Breathe. Watch as the belly rises towards the sky on your inhale and falls towards the earth on the exhale. Belly up. Belly falls. One more. Belly up. Belly falls. Slowly bring the hands to the back of the head to cradle the back of your head. As your inhale breath comes in, we'll lift our chin towards the ceiling, allowing our abdominals to engage. Exhale, lower chin and head back down. So give yourself just 5, 6, 7, whatever feels good here as we just add a little bit of movement through the core. So much of our posture depends on having a nice, strong core, and that's not just the exterior muscles, the ones on the outside that give us that washboard-looking abs. It's more about those deep within the walls of the trunk. You're going to protect the low back, give us a tall, aligned posture, and help us with balance as well, just in our day-to-day life. Give me one more. Lift the chin and then lower back down. Let the hands come away from that basket grip, coming to the outer edges of the knees. Stand those knees up tall and then bring the knees in towards the belly. You might reach for the shins or on the backs of the thighs and just kind of rock that out. Extending legs up towards the ceiling. You'll take your hands to the backs of the thighs and just kind of hold on to your legs as you lift your feet up tall. Give it a little flex and point through your toes and your ankles. You'll feel different muscle groups engage as you flex the foot and then when you point the toes. And then let your hands slide down the backs of your thighs, glue your low back to the earth, and gently point through the toes and lift your head. So your feet might come down a little closer to the floor. This gives you more of a hollow body shape for those of you looking for more core work today. Otherwise, it's just, again, engage that midsection. Soften everything, head comes back to earth. If your neck got kind of tense, turn your head side to side and breathe. Hands might come to shins, you might rock in a ball shape if that feels good, bending those knees, or you can keep the legs nice and extended. All right, friends, as you feel ready, we're going to shift from this shape onto our hands and knees. So you can rock forward and back on your spine or just roll to one side and press into the earth. And we'll take our time to find a tabletop. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Sway it a little bit right and left. See how your outer hips feel today. And then take that same swaying motion. You're going right and left. And now let's start doing it forward and back. So send hips towards heels. And then put a little bit of weight into the wrists. And then take it again. Hips towards heels. And then weight towards those wrists. So just take your time. Next time you're back at a steady table, go ahead and stay there. Invite in 3 cat-cows, so the belly will drop down on your inhale. And then you'll round your back, round your spine on your exhale. Just a couple of those. Match it with your breath. Create that nice rounded back. Next time you hit an angry cat spine, get another child's pose. So the hips sit back all the way onto the heels this time. Maybe you walk your hands as far forward as you feel comfortable with them on the mat. Your elbows can be lifted and engaged, or they can be soft and just resting on the earth. Again, your forehead might be on the ground, like that. Allow that side body to have a little more space. So start to walk the hands towards the left edge of your mat, maybe even all the way off onto the floor on that left side. Sit to your left hip. Take a nice side body stretch. Taking your time, slowly walk your hands back through center, and then send them over to the other side of the mat. Hips sitting back, stretching over to the right edge, long spine. Taking your time, start to walk hands back to center. On up to tabletop. When you find this tabletop position, we're going to work on your T-spine or your thoracic spine today, giving it a little bit more space to open and stretch. So you're going to take your left hand and just bring it to the back of your head, elbow out to the side. And as you inhale, you're just going to pull this elbow slightly up towards the ceiling and then bring it back down towards the earth. If that's too big of a shape, relax your arm. Pull your hand slightly away from your head. But you should feel this thoracic spine is right in the middle of the back. Main area of the shoulder blades. Nice little twist for the side body. So you have some weight in that right arm. Take it one more. Perfect. Left hand comes down to earth, and let's switch sides. Right hand comes up as if you're going to put it on the back of your head. Maybe the elbow points down, and then you open up. And relaxing the shoulders, don't hunch them towards your ears. Create space. Next time that arm is back down, we'll go ahead and put it on the earth and invite back in some cat-cow. Belly drops on your inhale. Back rounds on your exhale. Belly drops on the inhale. Back rounds on the exhale. Last one. Once you hit this next angry cat, go ahead and send it again. Hips back towards your heels. Child's pose. This time, drop your elbows all the way into the earth. Let the hands come to meet palm to palm, and then tuck the hands behind the back of your head. Giving love down the triceps, tops of shoulders through the mid-back. The further you walk those elbows away from your torso, deeper that stretch is going to be. Perfect. Hands move back down towards earth. Take your time back up to table. We'll find our first downward dog of this practice. So toes curl under, hips lift up. You find that upside down V, and take a moment or two to just kind of walk this out. So bending the right knee, bend the left. Take your time. Maybe your hips sway a little side to side. Maybe create long lines from your hands to your hips. And then we'll invite in small steps with the feet to begin walking forward for your first forward fold. If you have a set of blocks handy, you're always welcome to use those. Bringing yourself for a half lift when you feel ready. Exhaling to fold. Inhale, plant the feet, reach the hands high above the head. Stand up tall, exhale, hands to heart. Half sun salutation. So you'll inhale to reach, and exhale to fold. Halfway up, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way to standing. Exhale, hands right back to the heart. Let's do it again. Follow your own pace of breath, always inhaling when you're upright, exhaling when you fold. Let that breath lead you through. It's meditative movement here. Hands coming into heart. Close the eyes. As you inhale, let the elbows lift slightly out to the sides. Exhale, pull those elbows back in. One more time. Inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, pull them back in. Right foot steps back towards the back of your mat. Go ahead and drop this right knee down towards the ground. So if you need to follow slow motion, feel free. Let those back toes come untucked. We'll bring the hands back in at the heart as you just did. Maybe you sink a little deeper into this front knee if that feels okay for your body. Inhale, breath, elbows lift. Exhale, squeeze the neck. Feel the inner thigh of that back leg engage. Inhale, lift. And then you'll feel it again. Exhale and pull everything towards that midline. One more time. Hands lift up tall. Maybe your gaze even goes up towards the ceiling as you sink a little further into that front knee. Take your time to bring your hands slowly down towards the floor. Toes curl under on that back foot. Maybe the back knee even lifts up from the ground. Now you're in more of a runner's position, runner's lunge. Hold the space. If this shape is too big, you can always drop back knee back into the ground. You can add a set of blocks in your hands. If you're feeling good, the right foot is back at the back of the mat, so we're going to keep the right hand on the ground. See if we can lift the left hand up towards the ceiling, twisting upper torso towards that front knee. Perfect. Take your time. Hand comes back down. Step front foot all the way to the back of the mat. Maybe you're in a down dog, or perhaps you just drop to your knees. Give yourself a child's pose, whichever feels better. You have the space for that. As the body feels ready, we're going to walk back up towards our hands. Forward fold will be waiting for us. Head is hanging down toward the earth. Use the inhale to come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Elbows lift as you inhale. Over as you exhale. Close the eyes. Feel the thighs tighten up as you pull those elbows back in. Left foot steps back this time. And you're going to go nice and slow motion. Put that left knee down onto the ground. You need to use your hands, you of course, and put those down here on the floor. Back toes flat onto the mat. Hands come into the heart, and that same inner thigh is going to engage. Actually, it's the opposite inner thigh, but you know what I mean. The muscle on that back leg, you'll feel it. Something just as simple as channeling the breaths in the midline. change what we experience in our legs. Hands will begin to lift up. Gaze might even go up. You might even lean a little more into that front knee. Moving your gaze to something not moving, one more breath. Taking those hands carefully and slowly down to either a set of blocks or the floor, toes on your back foot, curl under, knee lifts, back to that runner's lunge shape. Looking good at home. Even in studio, using what you need to create shapes that feel okay for your body. We've got our left foot back, so left hand's either going to stay on the floor or on a block, and you'll lift that right hand up this time. Chest turns towards that bent knee. Extending through those fingertips, keeping a nice long back leg. Beautiful work. Hand comes back down, looks for earth. Stepping front foot to the back of the mat. If you need a little knee to drop to the ground on your way there, that's okay. You're in a down dog, walk it out. This time, instead of shifting straight from a down dog back up to that forward fold, you're going to add a little vinyasa. So inhale, put yourself into a plank pose. Knees can be on the earth if you'd rather. And then slow motion, exhale, elbows bend alongside the body. Knees find mat on the way down, lower. Knees, chest, chin. And then we come up for cobra. Ease our way down. Hands walk back even with your breastbone. Toes curl under, push back to high plank or to your knees. And then meet me in downward facing dog. Exhaling as you find that dog shape. Create space all down the back side of the body. Walking up those legs. Small steps with the feet. We'll take our time to walk feet up towards your hands, hanging in forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, back to standing, hands above the head. Exhale, back to your heart, close your eyes. Allow your elbows to lift 3 times, match it with your breath. As you feel ready, the inhale will extend the arms up overhead. Right hand is going to reach for your left wrist. Can't stay on the screen. I have the camera in the wrong spot. Begin to lean yourself to the side. So whatever hand you're holding on to, you're going to pull it to the opposite side. Beautiful. Inhale back to center. Switch your hands. Extend and then lean. Perfect. Back to center. As you exhale, just let your hands sweep. Inhale, bring them up. And then take it again. So it's a wood chopper with a twist. 2 more times. So it's a big let it all go. And give it a little twist. Hands come up back tall. And then just sit into chair pose for me. So your chair can have long extended arms. It can be a little softer. You can have hands at heart. Wherever you feel best today as you hold for another breath, turning on that heat within your legs. Exhale, fold. Nice work. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps towards the back of the mat this time. Go ahead and spin that right foot until it's parallel with the back of your mat. And then you've got a bent knee on your front leg. So I'm going to kind of switch here just so I don't confuse me or you. Take whatever hand is pointed towards the front of the room and flip it towards the ceiling. Backwards. Just trying to match you guys and I messed up. All right, lean away from that hand. Take it to reverse warrior. Inhale back to warrior 2, side angle. Hand comes up and over top. You've Got it. Let's go again. Just dance that through with your breath, leaning away on the exhale, perhaps. Maybe you use the inhale to move your way to warrior or extended side angle. And then your exhale again, back to warrior two. Whatever breath pattern you found there works for me. When you're ready, we're going to straighten this front leg and take a triangle. So I like to take just a slight turn of my back toes, just a little bit towards the front. It helps kind of square this hip that's been facing the side. Just kind of pulls it slightly around. Reach forward with that front hand and then give yourself a little tip. So triangle might have a hand down towards the earth, might be hanging out on your calf, your inner thigh. If that hand in the sky kind of wants to wrap around back for a little more shoulder opening, of course, that is always an option. Giving yourself space here, one more breath. Use the next natural inhale to pull yourself back up. Find warrior two. Final dance, front hand flips, lean away. And all the way back through, side angle one more time. Excellent work. Back to your warrior two. And then we're just going to cartwheel forward towards this front foot. Knees can drop to ground, or at least the back leg if you'd like, or you can just step the front foot all the way back. Another vinyasa only if that fits your practice style today. If not, you can just gently lower down to your belly, kind of hang out there for a moment so you feel an inhale. Find just a baby cobra, just to open up heart and front side body. And then ease your way to either a child's pose or a downward dog. Let this practice be what you need it to be today. It never has to be one size fits all. Don't all have the same amount of fuel in the tank, and that is okay. If you've been in downward facing dog, I encourage you to drop to your knees just for a couple full breaths in child's pose. Maybe widen the knees a little bit, surrender the chest towards the ground, and breathe. As you feel ready, the inhale breath will start to bring us back to life. I'm going to give you an option here. Instead of going up back to standing our traditional way, I'm going to give you something different. So you might choose to walk your hands a little closer to your body. Start to curl the toes under from your child's pose. And you're going to shift from child's pose to a squat. Then lift just your hips. And then lift your upper half on an inhale. Hands come and find the heart. Now, if you're like me and you're not at the front of the mat, you're just going to walk yourself forward to the front. An inhale breath lifts hands up. Exhale breath back to that same chair we were just in before we did the other side. All over my mat today. Trying to figure out how to stay in view at home, stay in view in studio. Tricky. Exhale and fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale and fold. All right, from here, step your left foot back this time. Spin your left foot so it's parallel with the back of the mat. And start to bring yourself up looking for warrior two. All right, so our warrior two this time should be opposite of where we were before. Flipping that front hand, take yourself through the dance. Back through side angle, always remembering to keep a little integrity with that front leg. Keep it bent, but sweep this top hand up and over the head. Back through the dance again. Match it with your breath. Using an exhale when you lean away. Inhale as you come through. Maybe it exhales as you sink in. Maybe it's an inhale when you hit warrior think about triangle now. Front knee begins to straighten. If you like, kind of turning that hip just slightly on this back leg, you might do it again. Turning that hip crease. Reach forward with front hand, and then begin to tip yourself into your version of triangle. Remembering that the top hand might come around back for a little more shoulder opener. Staying within that space. One more breath. All right, my friends, inhale, breath, chest comes up, knees starts to bend, back to your warrior two, one final dance. Flip and reverse. Through to your side angle. And then back to warrior two. Option here to cartwheel forward to the ground, full vinyasa again if you'd like. Or you could just kind of transition through by dropping back knee, stepping foot back, maybe lowering gently to the ground, belly onto the earth. Maybe a simple cobra, again, heart opening, gluing the lower extremities to the mat. And then transitioning slowly and carefully to either a downward facing dog or again, that child's pose. If you choose child's pose again, maybe you do something slightly different with your hands. Some of you perhaps drop elbows to the ground where others are in down dog. Wherever you are today is okay. Now if you are in down dog, I'm going to encourage you to drop your knees back to ground just as we did before. Walk the hands a little closer to those knees, curl the toes under. You're going to transition back through that squat. So lift the hips, forward fold. So find an inhale and lift the head. Just a different transition to standing. Hands to the heart, close the eyes, elbows lift 3 times. Final one. Since we have space to do so today, I'm going to encourage you to leave your mat just for a moment. We're going to use a wall for 2 different balance poses today. So you can go behind you, to the side of you, back of you, whatever wall you want to head to. Those of you at home, either a wall, a couch, a chair, something that you can put your hands on. The first step we're going to take is to reach our hands out to a flat surface, 2 straight out in front of us. I'm going to imagine I have a wall so that you guys can see what I'm doing. You're going to lift your right foot up, knee comes forward, foot is flexed. And then you're going to see if you can bring that right foot over, place it just above your left knee, and then slide down the wall into a figure 4 shape. Now, I know most of you can probably hold this without the wall, so you're welcome to certainly bring your hands off the wall to a prayer for a couple moments if you'd like. But I kind of like sliding down the wall, surrendering the balance, getting rid of it just for a moment, and sink a little deeper into that outer edge of the hip. So you can decide. You can let go of the wall for a little bit if you need to. And continue to breathe. All right, use your next natural inhale to walk the upper body up. Put those hands back on the wall. Right foot's going to come down and just touch for a moment next to that left foot. And then you're going to turn this into warrior 3. So I have to step a little bit away from the wall so that I have more space. My arms are fully extended. And I'm just going to lift this leg so that it goes straight out behind me. My hips are square with the ground. You can bend the elbows for those of you who want a little more stretch. You can certainly let go of the wall and bring the hands down to the earth for standing splits if you're looking for even more today. Stay in that shape for one more breath. Lifted leg comes down, goes next to standing leg. And then I just want you to do something that looks like down dog, but it's either on a chair or on the wall. So just kind of slide the hands down. Maybe they hold on. You might bend your knees and really act as if somebody's behind you, kind of pulling your hips to the opposite edge of the room. And your head is focused with eyes down towards the earth. These look great. If you've got tension hiding in your upper back, it might even feel nice to walk a little closer to the wall. Put your forearms on the wall. And let that T-spine get even more attention. But if at any time it starts aching in your low back, your lumbar spine, bend your knees. Push your hips back a little deeper. Pay attention. Find that body awareness. One more breath. All right, beautiful. Take your time. Walking hands back up the wall. You might feel a little dizzy if you don't inhale, so make sure you breathe here. If you do have any dizziness happening, just stay right there. Hold on to the wall. Keep breathing. All right, opposite foot's going to be your standing leg. You're going to start with figure 4 first. So if you know last time you liked doing that without the chair or the wall, you can let go. You certainly can always set yourself in that figure 4 first. And then begin to slide either down the wall or using whatever prop at home you might be using. These poses I kind of like to call off the mat, into the world. They're great things to add into your daily routine, something you can do at work, home. You don't always have to have a yoga mat. Just need a space that's somewhat clear, without a picture or a piece of furniture. Give yourself another breath here in that figure 4, maybe sinking a little deeper, or some of you let go of the wall to test your balance. That works too. Very easy to stay inward when we're at the wall. Hands go onto the wall. Take that figure 4 apart. Put that foot right next to your standing leg. You might have to scoot back from the wall just a smidge to move into your warrior 3. Remembering with warrior 3, the key is to think about your back, your hips, to stay nice and flat and square with the earth. So if someone was to come put a little serving tray right above your rear, it wouldn't slide off because your hip isn't open out to the side. You've got those hips nice and square, even if that means that back foot can't lift very high up off the ground. It's a different pose. We begin to open that hip. Not wrong, just different. Remembering the hands can stay on the wall, or you might walk down by the floor. Keep breathing, my friends. All right, take your time. Lifted leg comes back towards standing, and you get to find your your downward dog, or kind of an L shape on this wall. Maybe you even let your feet get a little wider this time. Some of you really liked putting the forearms onto the wall. If that felt good, you can walk close again. If it didn't, do some straight arms. Or you can even turn this into ragdoll if you want to take all arms out of the equation. As much as you can here, allow the breath to be slow, controlled, an ever-present part of your practice. When we forget to breathe is when we experience a little dizziness in these big shapes like these. So when the next natural inhale comes along, use that as a strategy to start to bring yourself back up to standing. Knowing that if you need an extra breath at the wall, that is A-okay. All right, give the wall a little baby pat. You're finished with it. You can head back towards your mat. We're going to start to work our way down towards the earth, maybe through a sun salutation. It might feel nice to reach the hands up on your inhale. Exhale and fold down towards the floor. Insert a half lift if that feels good in the spine. Get it nice and elongated. Exhale, fold. Place the hands on the earth. Step feet back, high plank. Put a little something else in your tank. See if you can hold this strength pose just for a breath. Beautiful. Knees take their time. Lower to earth as elbows bend down the sides of the body. Belly on the ground. Hands walk back even with the breastbone. Maybe you come up a little higher this time. Perhaps it's up dog. Exhale. Slowly put those knees in the earth. Pull the core in and shift to either child's pose or downward facing dog. One of the main reasons I don't move from upward facing dog back to your belly is it can be really hard on your low back. We don't engage the right muscles. All right, gently lowering those knees back down to earth. Walk the hands back towards your knees. You have an option to skip the squat. If that doesn't work well for you, maybe you just play right here, just kind of playing with the muscles of the feet. Stay here on your knees. If the squat works, go ahead and walk yourself up into that squat. Knees are directed straight forward. Maybe even let go of ground for balance and hug around those knees. Give yourself another breath. Perfect. Hands drop back down towards ground. Knees move back in. And then we'll just take your time to move to your seat. So you can kind of swing your legs to one side and then slowly come down to your seat. You can crisscross the ankles, or crisscross, whatever works for you. I'm way at the back of my mat. I don't know where you are, but if you're like me, you might need to do a nice scooch a couple times to get yourself towards the middle of the mat. If you know you like accessories, whether it be blocks or straps or blankets or eye pillows or any of those things, when you get towards Savasana, go ahead and reach for some of that. Keep it close by. We're going to take the right knee and hug it in towards our belly. And a lot of times when we do this, we start adding a twist. Today, I really just want you to hug that knee in. If it feels okay, maybe step it over this thigh, but then just wrap your hands around the front of that knee and sit tall. Perfect. Take your time to unwind from that shape and go the other way. So I know the twist often feels so good, but I wanted us to get a little stretch for the outer hip. So even if you're not feeling a ton, doesn't mean it's not working for you. Just hugging that knee in, spine is nice and tall. Pressing through the heel of that opposite leg. And you can even close your eyes. Head might sway easy right and left. Perfect. Unwind for that. We're going to put both feet onto the ground with bent knees up to the ceiling. Hands are going to come back slightly behind you. I'm going to turn just a little bit so that our friends at home can kind of see what I'm doing. But you're just going to take your knees and let them sway from side to side. Now, when they go to side, you might be able to get them in a place where one knee is at about a 90 and the other knee is about a 90. Maybe. If not, don't overwork yourself. But you're just trying to get a little bit more outer hip. One or two more of those. Now, you can keep playing right here, or if it feels okay in your body, the next time your knees go left, I want you to see if you can walk your hands out in front of that left knee. Now, you'll have to watch the angle of this back leg. And now I'm completely off screen. Sorry, guys. Have to watch the angle of that back leg and the angle of front leg. If this is not quite enough for you, whatever knee is forward, so if that's your left knee forward, you're going to take your right hand And act almost if you're threading the needle. So send that right hand, stretch it over this thigh, and walk that opposite arm forward. So another twist. Yep, that's it. And into that thoracic spine. And if you don't need that, you don't have to do that. This is a big shape by itself sometimes, so you might have to get rid of some of these 90-degree angles you formed and just wiggle around here until you get that kink out of your hip. All right, beautiful. Start to pull that threaded arm out. Walk the hands back behind your hips again, and then you'll stand your knees up, and then we'll let them go the other way. So again, just kind of check your angles. See if you can make a 90. See if you can make a 90. If they aren't perfect 90s, it's okay. Hands walk in front, and we just kind of sink in again. So lots of thoracic spine attention today, lots of hip attention. And whatever knee you've got forward, opposite arm is going to thread the needle again, adding a twist. And a nice stretch through that upper back. And you'll probably feel a good stretch. The tush, the cheek is on the ground. Probably feeling a little stretch on that outer edge as well. All right, if you've threaded the needle, go ahead and take that out. Take your time. Hands start to walk back behind you. Both knees stand back up towards the sky. And then we'll just kind of pull them in. Good. All right, I'm going to shift so I'm like you now. We're going to begin to head ourselves back towards our back, bringing any props with you that you might have handy. If you have nothing, no worries. You don't need it. Just move your way back onto your back. Of course, checking your surroundings, especially those of you at home. Make sure you have a safe space to recline. And then whatever the body might be asking for here when you first hit your back is okay by me. Some of us need to shift side to side. Some are hugging knees to chest. Some are lifting feet up towards the sky. Whatever shape seems to make sense to you as your low back finds the earth again. Sometimes I need to play with my shoulder blades, pull them out from underneath of me, point and flex my toes and ankles. And then wherever you might land, whether that's just bent knees up towards the ceiling, long legs, for some of you might have chosen, bound angle. That means the soles of your feet are together, knees are out and open to the sides. Wherever you have landed here, I want you to just really tune back into that belly breath. Belly breathing is when our hands or our bellies themselves rise up towards the ceiling with the breath and then fall towards the earth with the exhale. So the inhale might add rise to your belly, and then the exhale might add a fall. So legs can be extended, knees can be bent or bound. And your only to do is breathing. Simple, slow, controlled breath. Now you're not committed to this physical position you are in, so if at any point in time you feel like you want to adjust where your legs have landed, you are welcome to do so. It might make sense to extend your legs long and take more of a traditional Savasana shape, or maybe your low back just isn't loving this today and you'd rather bend your knees and take on something that looks like constructive rest. Feet are shoulder distance or maybe a little wider, and then you just let those knees fall in and kiss one another on the inner edges of the thigh or those knees. Some even prefer to rest completely on their side. So if you want to roll over to a side lying position, use a pillow or a blanket, your arm. Feel free to take side lying savasana as you start to close out our time together. Allowing that breath to still stay at the forefront of your practice. But let it soften. Maybe not so much force behind each inhale and each exhale. Stay within this closing posture for a few more minutes and allow yourself to really give in to this moment. Nowhere else you need to be but right here with your breath. Stay present with yourself. Slowly beginning to be aware of the breath, staying present within yourself as you welcome back gentle movements in your fingers or your toes. If you haven't yet already found a side lying position, maybe knees come in a little closer, and then you begin to roll yourself to rest on your right hand side, pressing into the earth as you feel ready. Easing your way back up to a seat as the body feels that's appropriate. Maybe hands coming to the heart, palm to palm. You might even lift those shoulders or those elbows one more time, that same movement we've taken so often today. I greatly appreciate you making this time for yourself, not only your physical body, but bringing your mind and spirit to the mat as well. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again. Namaste.